Johnny Murray here, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at 5 upcoming anticipated new IP. That's right. So a couple weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago, I did a video about 5 upcoming anticipated indie games, and I really enjoyed that video. I've heard from some of you that you really enjoyed that, and I thought let's do some more of those where we just look at some upcoming games and get hyped together. Maybe reshed light on something that you may have forgotten about or don't really know about. And I thought, what better way to do it than let's do something completely different. Let's do new IP. Next week, or in the next 2 weeks, we're going to do upcoming anticipated sequels. So, and this is kind of going to be a repeated format. Every week or 2 weeks, we're going to do looking at just 5 upcoming games of 3 different categories. One being indie, one being new IP, and one being sequels, because that's pretty much what games are. They're either indie, they're either a sequel, or they're either a new IP. And I think it'd be really, really cool to just take a look at everything coming out, and specifically today, new IP. So if you guys love video games, it doesn't matter what you love, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, third party, indie, PC, VR, whatever, consider subscribing, sharing with your friends. I really do appreciate any support you guys give me, especially the support on this video right here. We do daily video game content, and yeah. So let's get talking about some new IP. Now, new IP is very important for the industry. In a lot of ways, new IP is my favorite types of games. I love games that are new IPs because oftentimes new IPs, along with indie, a lot of indie games are new IPs. A lot of times new IPs are, you know, creative, unique, fresh, different, out of the box. They take inspiration off of so many things, but they add their own flair, and it could really lead to some fantastic games. A lot of my favorite games are new IPs. My top 2 favorite games of all time are new IP, being Ghost of Tsushima and Returnal. So when I look at new IP, it just excites me because, granted, there are a lot of new IPs where I'm like, okay, I think it looks good. We'll see how it is. And then there are some new IPs where I'm like, it just looks generic. It looks like your everyday type of game, you know, especially a lot of Souls games. A lot of Souls games, in my opinion, look very just looks like another Souls game. But every once in a while, you will find a new IP that just clicks, that just is screaming something special about it. And I think there are a lot of those, and so I want to shed light on a bunch of those games. So I have 5 games here that we are going to talk about, and we're going to start by talking about one of the most anticipated ones that has been a huge shock to a lot of people because no one really saw it coming, and this is something that has been quickly rising in anticipation, being Clair Obscure's Expedition 33. Now, I've done multiple videos on the channel about this game. If you want to go check that out, make sure you go do that. But this is basically a AAA game that is basically a Persona type game. It is a turn-based game. However, it incorporates real-time gameplay as well, as in parrying, dodging, and aiming. But it is going to be that turn-based combat you get with things like Yakuza, like Persona. And I think that's really exciting. I'm a big turn-based fan, and I think this game looks really great. When you look at the visuals, it's just stunning. It's a stunning-looking game, and it's just something we've never seen before. A turn-based game like this, with this type of fidelity, with this type of vibe to it, and I think it could really be interesting. The development studio behind it is very interesting, to say at least. A lot of the developers have a lot of their favorite games being Final Fantasies and Personas and stuff like that. And when you match that up with what this game is trying to be, it could really be a huge success and could be something very special. I love the plot and the concept of this game, where basically every year a number is chosen, and whoever is that number of age will basically die. And basically the game is sending a group of people to stop whatever force is creating this loop that every year a certain age group dies. And that is the point of the game, and I feel like that could lead to a lot of emotional weight. In this case, this year's is 33, so anybody of the age of 33 will unfortunately perish. And so I think it's a really cool concept. It looks like such great gameplay. I love the visuals, and everything about it is just screaming like it could end up being a huge hit. And we'll just have to see. It is coming out in Game Pass day 1. It is coming out in 2025, so I'm very excited for Clair Obscure's Expedition 33. Now, the next game we're going to talk about is another Game Pass game coming day one for Xbox, and that is actually a first-party Xbox game being Avowed. Now, Xbox has gained quite the right reputation of a lot of new IPs as of recently, and Avowed is one of them, and it is coming from one of the most decorated studios Xbox currently owns, being Obsidian Entertainment, the studio behind Fallout New Vegas, Grounded as of recent, Pentiment as of recent, and The Outer Worlds. They're currently also working on Outer Worlds 2, but that's much earlier in development. Avowed is their big fantasy RPG, and I think this game looks really cool. You know, there's definitely still a lot of questions for Avowed. Will it live up to the hype? Will it be, you know, up there with Fallout New Vegas? That remains to be seen. But I think what they have here is interesting, to say the least. You know, fantasy RPGs are a very popular subcategory within the RPG genre. And this is basically their attempt at a Skyrim. This is their attempt at maybe something like The Witcher, something like that. Now, these games can be separated by a lot, but when you look at Avowed, what you get is first-person or third-person combat with a variety of weapons I think look really cool. You have wands, you have swords, you have bows, you have shields, you have a lot of things to utilize, as well as magic. I think the magic is what's really going to be exciting for me, seeing all these different abilities and spells you're able to use. And I just think this game could end up being a sleeper big hit. I think this game is kind of going overlooked, but at the same time, people understand the potential this game has. And I think that is just goes to show you, number one, how interesting the concept and the IP looks, as well as the reputation Obsidian Entertainment has earned. And I do think what's really going to come down to this game is how does the story and the narrative perform? You know, is it going to have great choices? Is it going to have great characters? Is it going to have emotional moments? Is it going to have thrilling moments? We're just going to have to wait and see. But I do think Avowed has a lot of potential, and I have liked what I've seen so far. It did just get delayed till February of 2025, so we don't have to wait too much longer, but nonetheless should give the team more time to polish it up and get it ready for us to experience. Like, again, it is coming day one into Game Pass, and I'm excited. Another new IP that I think I'm really excited for in terms of first-person games is Judas. So I'm a big BioShock fan. I love BioShock. I think BioShock is such a cool idea, and there's been a lot of games that have tried to replicate the success of BioShock, that have tried to get the same flow and the vibe of BioShock, and none have really been able to do it. But what if we took the original creator of BioShock and let him work on a completely new IP? And that is what Judas is. It is from the same creator as BioShock. And I think this game looks really spectacular. I am super duper excited for this game. This is definitely one of my most anticipated new IPs just because of the concept. I think the fact that it is a BioShock-like, number one, excites me because it's BioShock. But number two, I love the character we're already seeing, and I love the concept. We don't know exactly if it's parallel realities. We don't know if it's time travel. We don't know if it's alternate dimensions. We don't know what it is. We don't know if it's multiverse. All we know is there's some interesting things going on, and all the scenes we've seen, all the combat we've seen, just looks intriguing. And I really do want to see more of this game. I really do hope this is a 2025 release date. At the moment, it currently is scheduled for 2025. 2025 is looking insane, by the way. I mean, we've already talked about that on the channel multiple times. But yeah, it's looking goated. But yeah, Judas just seems like it could be one of those new IPs that really breaks the boundary. However, I do feel like this is also one of those IPs that we need to be a little bit cautious and set our expectations right, because there have been games that have tried to replicate some classics, and even though they're by the original creator, haven't necessarily lived up to expectations. One example for me is the Callisto Protocol. It is basically a game just like Dead Space, made from the original creator of Dead Space. However, it did not live up to the hype. Could Judas be another one of those games? I really do hope not, and personally, I don't think so. I think this game just looks high quality. It looks different enough where it's not going to be immediately connected to BioShock or compared, but it is going to have those resemblances, so we're going to have to go in with that expectation. But from what we've seen, I'm excited, and I think Judas looks like it could be special. Another game we're going to talk about is one that we honestly don't know much about, but for me, it's just always kind of hit the right note of, I think this game has so much potential just because of the look of it. That's really all we have to go off is the look, and that is Pragmata. Pragmata is being made by my personal GOAT of publishers right now, Capcom. They are just killing it in every aspect of gaming. But Pragmata is, I don't even know how to explain it to you. You just kind of have to watch the trailer. It is this astronaut-looking dude in super futuristic tech. He meets this girl with maybe some kind of powers or technical powers, and there's some kind of entity that is causing these weird things going on in the world. And it's just so cool seeing the city with all these effects happening around. The action scene where they start floating up in the air and there's cars and everything like trying to hit them. They're dodging with the jetpacks and sending these big nets to try and block them from hitting a satellite or whatnot. And then they end up on the moon and then they're looking down at Earth. It's just like, what is this concept? It looks so cool, and just knowing that this is Capcom, knowing their pedigree, and knowing their quality and quantity that they've been pushing out recently, I can't help but be excited and think this game has so much potential. And this has been one of my most anticipated games ever since it was announced back in 2020. I've been there since the day one. I've been saying this game is going to be good. I'm so confident in this game to be good just because of the concept. And I think that's what's so special about new IPs is when you have a concept that is just so interesting, that means your ceiling, your upside, your potential is through the roof. And I feel like this is a perfect example. Pragmata, I feel like the concept is so there that this game could be special as long as they deliver with polish and quality. And knowing Capcom, I feel like they're going to do that. So they already have all the perfect ingredients for a new IP. And Pragmata is that. A great concept. And you have a studio and publisher that is known for quality behind it. I'm excited for Pragmata. We don't have a release date, unfortunately. It keeps getting delayed, but I'm ready for whenever it happens. But the final new IP that we're going to talk about today is definitely probably my most anticipated new IP, and that is Clockwork Revolution. Now, there's nothing really I could tell you at face value to tell you why this is my most anticipated new IP. It, again, is just from the original trailer. I think something with the concept, something with the way the game looked, the things you were doing, that just excited me. I will say this does also kind of look like a BioShock kind of take on a game. It is that first-person RPG type genre, but it has to do with time manipulation. It has to do with post-apocalyptic. And I think just from the setting, the city with all the post-apocalyptic steampunk type vehicles and technology around you, mixed with the awesome gameplay that we've gotten a glimpse of, mixed with just the fact that it is time manipulation. All of it's kind of just going hand in hand with each other, and it's kind of just connecting to make a idea that I'm all on board for. This is being made by In Exile Games Entertainment. I'm not sure what their little tagline is, but it's being developed by In Exile. It is, again, another Xbox first-party studio and will be releasing day one into Game Pass. We currently don't have a release date for this. I wouldn't be shocked if it's 2025. If not, it'll definitely be 2026. But this game looks so cool, and it's just resonating with me on a different level. I don't know why. And yeah, I'm super duper excited for Clockwork Revolution. I can't wait to see this game again, and maybe we can get some story details, maybe a little bit more details about how the gameplay is going to operate. But nonetheless, I'm excited for Clockwork Revolution and all 5 of these new IPs. Like I said, new IPs are super duper exciting and very important in the industry. Not everything has to be the big blockbuster sequel that we're looking for. Sometimes we need something new and fresh to create those new IPs so we can get those big blockbuster sequels. And that's what new IPs are for. We've seen so many new IPs throughout the years just absolutely blow up. And I do feel like these 5 are worthy candidates of big hits. You guys let me know in the comments, what are some new IP that you are excited for? Did I miss any? Let me know if you want me to cover any in the next time we do 5 new IPs. But thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Johnny Morales. Peace.